Hello and welcome to Zeta Chivalry to Survivor. On today's map is Bridgetown and I'm playing with 100X, just to illustrate that it is still better in my view than the 100 mates. Without further ado, let's comment the run itself. So straight off the bat, I went into Chivalry 2 weapon comparison website and just entered 100 mace and 100X. And 100X wins heads down in all the places where it is damage related, and loses a bit on range and some other small things. So anyway, you saw that heavy slash delivers 65 damage for unarmored opponent, and light overhead delivers 55 damage to unarmored opponent. Well, mace has it much lower. So for mace, for unarmored opponent, the light overhead delivers 40, so 40 against 55. So immediately axe is way better against vanguards or just normal archers, also footmen. Against knights it's still better because the overhead delivers 55 plus 25% damage, which is still more than 60. And 60 is the damage with light overhead for the 100 mace. So even against knights, light overheads are better. So for 100x, so it takes less hits to kill enemy. But you can argue that the range is important, and I agree, the range is important, but also is going through the enemies with live hits. So yeah, so for this like accumulation of many stats, I can tell you that 100x is still better in most of the categories. I'm not saying you can also play with cutters, but mace actually is losing to the axe in terms of fighting one against many, and also pure alpha damage. So even against armored opponent, there are categories and hits where axe prevails against 100 mace. So yeah, again, I know 100 mace is quite popular weapon, and I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that 100 axe is better, and if you haven't tried, you should. Because in duels, I agree, you know, the range is probably more important than you know, going through opponent, because you're fighting only one opponent. So in that case, yes, maybe. But in one against many scenario, 100x wins hands down. So again, light hits, light overhead, 55 damage. So it takes 3 hits to kill enemy vanguard, and with heavy, 100 mace, it takes 4 hits to kill a vanguard. So yeah, those small things. Also regarding archer too, so with 100 axe it's just 2 hits. With 100 mace it's 3 hits, 3 light overheads. So yeah, the small statistics, it seems like it doesn't really matter that much, but actually it does when you do not have much time to concentrate on the enemy and you'd rather go away and look in the other direction and try to score additional hits. So let's see now statistic against for example, a knight. Of course, this one is a bit tricky. He swings a lot. Very nice dodge by me. So I decided to go back because enemy is giving the active parry to the enemy, and you know that's the easiest way to get hit. Some throwing apples did not help much. Again, light hit, 55. Enemy down. So yeah, again, since knights are the most popular class, hands down, in Chivalry 2. So yeah, the difference between damage between 100 mace and 100 axe against armored opponent, like really armored, like a knight, it's not that big, but it still exists. So even against the knight, axe does outshine in some categories of hits. So yeah, but still, there's plenty of vanguards too. There's quite a few footmen, but also, you know, there's still plenty of vanguards, so you can practice your axe on them too, and you will have much better result than, for example, with 100 mace. So just the small statistics, it's quite important to know why, you know, people fall down much quicker when using axe as opposed to a mace. See, in that engagement, the range does not really matter that much. So yeah, you saw that one overhead, the light overhead, delivers 68 damage to a knight, right? So that's with 100 axe, but with 100 mace it delivers 40 plus 50%, so that's 40 plus 20, so 60 damage. So 60 against 68. So which is already significant. It's around 15%, just rough estimate, you know. So that's still significant. That means even against a knight, some hits with axe are more powerful at around 15%. And I'm not talking about unarmored class, where some hits are actually way stronger, like 50, not 50%, but something like 40% stronger than the mace. So yeah, you think that's insignificant, but it is quite significant damage difference between those two weapons. So this is one of the reasons why axe prevails and is better than the mace. And another reason, of course, is going through opponents. Again, cannot stress that enough in the scenarios 1 against many. When you have only a window to do one counter, you cannot do heavy hits, only light ones. So you can deliver more damage with light hits and to multiple opponents. This is incredibly important when you're countering and doing repos and so on. Otherwise, you won't be able to fight in 1 against many scenarios if your weapon does not go through enemies on light hits. Especially if it does more damage, then, you know, that's even better. So yeah, again, I'm not a duelist, you know, I fare quite fine in some duels in the game or in TO. But I do not go too often on a duel server. So meta there might be different. So like maces are probably more viable. But in 1 against many, it's not a it's okay. It's not the worst weapon, but it's not a great weapon. So yeah, have this in mind. So this is why I'm rating the axe as tier S, one-handed axe as tier S weapon, and for a very good reason. Have in mind that it's a sidearm, but it delivers really incredible punch, and it also goes for the enemies. So yeah, otherwise, you know, playing with it, it's a breeze. But of course, due to you know, slightly lower range, you have to go into opponents and get out unscathed. So that means it's, you know, the range is not as bad as with, for example, other weapons like unarmed or katars or, you know, some daggers. So it's not as bad, but it's still quite short. So the best way to use it is to gather momentum, then go in, hit, and go back. So if you want to do that, you would actually, the best class to use it is the one that actually has additional bonus to movement speed from wielding one-handed weapons. So, which is of course the man-at-arms class, like this one. So the shield is optional and, you know, not necessary really. But if I put it there on my hand, it actually even blocks ballista shots and some other things like archer arrows and so on. You don't need to brace it for it to work. So unfortunately I did knock friendly, but I did revive him also. So yeah, enemy archer, no chance to escape. He won't even draw his weapon. But if that would have been a mace, then after 2 hits he definitely would be able to get a weapon if he's quick enough. Not with an axe. A special attack, 88 damage, which is quite significant. Again, probably not sure about statistics against 100 mace, but I'm pretty sure it's still more. Still more. Of course, you can argue that, you know, why I'm comparing light overheads, because axes usually have overheads as a damage amplification to overheads. But still, you know, that's usually what you do if you fight many against many. You cannot really swing to the sides too much because you would hit friendlies and also get into some objectives. Sorry, some obstacles like tree trunks and so on and so forth. So for this reason, you usually mostly use overheads and stabs. Unless you're dueling, then, you know, anything goes. So again, overheads are important 1 against many. And this is the reason why I'm comparing those hits, not you know, special attacks, not heavy. Heavy can be fine, but you know, again, not swings. So yeah, map-wise, it's going quite well. Actually, had quite a lot of time to score a lot of kills, and also you know, explain what's happening. So yeah, this map is definitely one of the easier for attackers. But especially if you are able to dodge ballistas, and you know, there are 3 ballistas here, but they're not hard. They're not hard to dodge and not easy to land. So this is really different from, for example, Thay Castle, where ballistas are really godlike there. In this map, they're not. The positioning is quite lame, actually. Not sure why, but that was the design of the map. Alright, so... again, I see a lot of enemies, but I'm not protruding too much. Just trying to single out weaker enemies. And wait until my gang shows up. Again, light swing delivers 50 damage. So I'm pretty sure that's definitely more than with a mace. FYI. Guy tries to escape. And unfortunately I was not able to hit him. But I still hit an archer in the head with a ballista bolt. Unfortunately delivered very minuscule damage. You know, like 30 damage. Really shameful. It's like a really big arrow. I expected it to do more. And in return received a ballista bolt in my head. Not cool, but I know where the tent is. And there is also a flag here. So I can grab some apples. Yeah, there are plenty of apples. A new shield. Not sure if the last one disappeared, but yeah, it looks cool. I have 2 shields. So I'm like now armored from 2 sides. So which is great actually. Because, you know, all those 2 shields are blocking. You know, one is a Targe, I think, you know, the small one. So, but still, those 2 shields are blocking enemy arrows. So you can say that I'm from the left side, left and back. I'm fully protected from all ranged weapons. Which is good. So that means, you know, less stray arrows can hit me. Because, believe it or not, but shields have a bigger hitbox than they appear. Dueling with a guy with a really fast weapon. But still was able to hit him. And then he tried to retreat. So one-handed weapons do gimp a bit in terms of that you actually get, you know, lose stamina when you block much quicker. So for this reason you should use mostly counters. Otherwise also Axe does have additional bonus to removing stamina from the enemy. So on every hit where enemy is defending, so you still remove more stamina than with a mace. So I checked that. So that's interesting to know. So yeah, a guy delivers defense pretty well. So yeah, a hit side swing delivers 81 damage, which is significant, because but it's a heavy. You see, heavy swing, really a lot of damage. And heavy overhead, also 81 damage to completely armored opponent. So yeah, again, it would take more than 2 heavy hits or heavy swings for enemy knight, I agree, unless you do also the special attack. So in that case, it is possible to 2-shot enemy knight with this weapon. So, but one hit has to be heavy and the other has to be special attack. Of course, special attack is very situational. But still landing it is quite easy. I mean, the animation is exactly the same as with one-handed mace. So if you're good with one, you should be good with the other. Except probably the range is a bit lower, but you know, it's so insignificant that I don't really find the difference when I play. Unless some people who are more proficient in both weapons can tell me otherwise. Yeah, you saw that special attack delivers 93 damage to a knight. So then that leaves the knight with around 70 HP, and we know that our heavy swing or heavy overhead delivers 81 damage. So that's more than total HP for enemy knight. So yeah, if you deliver one special attack, you can just heavy swing or heavy overhead, and that will be it for the enemy knight. Yeah, and you saw that vanguards do fall from 3 hits. If you do include heavy, then that will be enough to kill a vanguard in 2 hits. Yeah, there is one guy in the game who, you know, is doing the pacifist run, and that's good for him. I know I did one too. So he's just hitting the boards with ballista and collecting the points. So I recorded it. If you want to try and just to troll like this, you can. But you know, have in mind that you know it is very repetitive, and you won't see a lot of action. It's okay to do it like once, and you don't get any special achievement. Just you know, you can brag about this. But yeah, other than that, yeah, that's very niche gameplay if you want to do pacifist. Let's get back to 100 axe destroying the world. So, special attack for unarmored opponent delivers 75 damage. So that's really a lot. It does not yet kill enemy archers, but does a lot of damage. So 75, that leaves archer with around 15 HP left. So you can one kick and then one jab should do the job. Right, so the map is progressing fine. We're at the moment at the penultimate stage. So I'm not in the front yet because it's a bit difficult to, you know, get in range of the enemies if you're on the front line. So what I'm doing, I'm staying back, and everyone who is not on the position from enemy team is my target. So instead of, you see, instead of 3 enemies, a guy from enemy team keeping 3 of our guys busy, so I go dispatch of him, and then we can join the fray and then continue on to the objective. Yeah, quite unlucky for enemy halberdier. He was quite unlucky. He tried to do a special attack and then wanted to fire and was hit by me also. So not the best day for him. So I'm now at 38 kills already. Quite easy to play with this weapon. Again, a lot of kills. Whereas with mace I found that, you know, again, I might be just not as proficient, but I find that I do deliver a lot of assists too. But with this weapon, kills are just, you know, kills are on the menu. So not assists, but just kills. So, which is great. I mean, I come here for usually kills. But it might be just, again, lucky with this, you know, run. But with 100 attacks, I consistently get a lot of kills. And with mace, I'm not as proficient. So I delivered damage to the enemy. He's, you know, berating there for no reason. And deliver not to pursue. So yeah, you can go to the nobles, but you know it's more fun to get more kills in this stage, especially when I see that friend team is doing great regarding objective. Enemy has lost his primary weapon, but that class is a bit unfair because it has 3 weapons he can choose after he lost the first and secondary. He also takes the tertiary weapon, the thrown axe, which he can use as a melee weapon too. A bit unfair, you would say. Yes, I agree. It is a bit unfair. Now enemy tries, you know, specifically targets me. Probably wants to do me first death. I'm not stupid, you know, I'm not after position. I'm here like with 3 other guys. And they want to kill too. So I delivered some damage to him. And he got absolutely nothing. He didn't even hit me at all. So yeah, when you try to do, you know, to end survival streak for somebody, you should do it from some position of ambush. If you ambush, then that's great, you can do that. But if you try to head on, going to enemy spawn, that's not really a good way to do it. And most often than not, you would face failure. I like to do also, you know, if I see somebody is doing survival runs, if then, you know, again, if I don't know them, I usually go in and try to ruin their run. Why not? Let's see how good they are. And very often I do that, I ruin it. I died a few times because I tried. You know, I had different objective. But yeah, it's interesting also how to see how other people are playing and how they are reacting. And yeah, I'm not talking about cheaters. Cheaters are, you know, of course, different story. Just go, you know, I do spectate a bit them, then report them, that's it. So now in chat I'm being asked to use, you know, if I'm writing in Latin letters, right? But I sort of write Russian words. Just explaining the guys how did the guy with 0-2, that's 0 kills and 2 deaths, was able to get a high score on enemy team. So I explained them what it is, and so they would know it. But then they proceeded to tell me that for some reason have to write in Cyrillic. And I don't really want to. Again, I'm not Russian. If I need to write something in Russian, I use translate.net website. Where I just enter text in Latin and they just you know, automatically put into Cyrillic if I need that. But I do that rarely, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, not really the most important thing. So even I don't think I have in Lithuanian language here. just using English all the time. English. Why? You know, it's just a language used by everybody. That's it. And this is the reason why I'm voicing this video also in English language, not any other. So yeah, the map is soon to end. I was able to lose for some reason one-handed axe. As you know, there is a timer in Chivalry for each weapon, so that timer has passed. And now the weapon which I lost due to stamina loss is no longer available to pick up. And since one-handed axe is not a popular weapon, I don't see it here. So I cannot pick it up. So instead I have the two-handed hammer. It's okay weapon. Again, I'm not proficient with it too much, but there's not much left of the map anyway. So just 20 seconds left. Not sure if I will be able to win it, but it doesn't matter. Still have to write a lot of in chat. So the guys called me Russian, and I did respond with some things that do not really tell me, that explain them that I'm not Russian. So the map is ending. 45 kills on my tally. Really enjoyed this run. The one-handed axe is the best one-handed weapon in Chivalry 2. Thank you for watching. See you next time.